How do we introduce renewable energy into the classroom and expose students at a time when they're exploring and learning, so they're more apt to think about these as options? Some of the things I think we're doing really well are research projects. So through the Energy Institute here, Greg offers multiple research projects. These are actual projects that are going to companies to help solve real problems. And along those lines too, just the integration of experiential learning across all modalities of the classroom. And then also thinking about our partnership. How are we bringing more diverse kind of leaders and thought leaders into the classroom to help students understand and start connecting with people in industry, so we can develop mentorship programs and develop internship programs where we can start building early these pipelines.
The one size fits all doesn't really fit everyone, and you need to navigate this as you offer your portfolio of education in a business school. You have your undergraduates who are seeking employment upon graduation. There's the awareness to start with, right? So you have to begin with alerting students about, if you're focusing on energy or climate, doesn't have to mean you're an activist. It's just simply part of the way business is being done today. And you bring in speakers, our employers, in that case from the industry, to speak about how there are opportunities if they want to focus on these or take these kind of focused courses or apply their projects with a certain focus on energy or climate. And then, of course, the MBAs, I have to say, I believe are going to be one of the biggest mobilizing pieces. Basically, you want industry to support you on initiatives and training. They need to have a more hands-on approach to what needs to be taught in the classroom. It goes beyond the awareness, it goes beyond solutions and innovations and working and research and case studies, and we need to move in that way.
You look at some NDC targets for certain countries, it doesn't take into account your social landscape and your people, and therefore we end up, I always use the example of South Africa, where you dismantle the old before you strengthen the new, because you want to transition and because you've set targets already. People consideration is really at policy level first, before we can go into organizations like us that are now saying, how do we now train women so that women can meaningfully participate within the energy sector? So we're always playing a catch up to try to fit people in so that we are saying they are not left behind. So it's really important from policy level positioning of countries to transition, that at the core of that is your people, it's your social landscape in your decision making.
We see a little bit of a disconnect between industry and academia. A lot of those reasons come back to some of what has already been discussed in terms of the pace and how fast academia can move, but a lot of interest in developing leaders that can purposefully, I think, lead change within their organizations and their companies. And I mentioned earlier the change management, one of those specific skills, because I think it's such a big one as companies go through these shifts. I think there is a lot to be said about building teams within the company that can really go through very difficult transitions in some cases. Another aspect that I would like to highlight is actually the need for cross and multidisciplinary approaches as well. We see that many times founders that might be developing their own ventures who have the technical skills about a particular technology, but still need a lot of the building skill, the business skills that can really help them build a business and grow that business.